Hey there everyone, welcome back to GameVine, and my name is David, and I am sitting behind this gigantic box which you see in front of you. And in today's review, we're going to be doing the grand finale of Red Dragon Inn, number 5 here, the grand pappy of all of them. And this is fantastic news. Other than adding a whole bunch of cool components and doing a revamp of all of them, you get to take these boxes here and throw them out. Because now, you can put the decks in this big thing. So you already know I love this game, so I'm super excited to dig into this big box version. And if you don't know how to play, go back to the first video, I'll teach you there. So now let's start with all the components and what comes in this box, and then I'll review some of the heroes as well. Let's go. So this is basically it. I know it doesn't seem exciting, but trust me, this solves so many problems and makes the whole set look great. So you don't have all these multiple boxes pulling these decks out of this one. It's all just here. It has 4 different compartments, perfect for all the card sizes. And instead of giving you these glass beads, which you can store in here, they redo it and give you these little hearts and or these stern markers, so you can keep track of your alcohol content and your life that way. And the cool thing about this set here is that it adds these dividers, which I'm sure you've seen in my other videos. I added in there because they're done nicely, and it has a bit of flavor text along with the great art. It also comes with these bags, which you can store whatever you want in it. I got my plethora of gold, more gold than you can shake a leg at. And it comes with a second one, which you can do as well. Of course, it comes with a whole bunch of these spongy dividers as well, because you're going to have a ton of room, but they're going to be adding more to this series. I guarantee it. The other thing that they revamped is the player mats. No longer do you play with those thick cardboard things. You have these thinner cards, but it has a layout of where everything goes. So your deck goes here, the discard, the drink me pile, and it actually has some flavor art on there as well, and that goes for all of the allies and the previous sets, heroes. Everybody's in here with their cool art. So I mean, some people might like the thicker cardboard placemats, but I am a fan of these. They're just plain on the back. So that is another revamp that they did. And this box fits everything. Sleeved or not, you're gonna find room. And the 4 heroes that come in this set are really cool. There's a thief there. There's the collector here, and the trickster, and the Drunken Master. So I'll show those off right now. Now, look at this set. Isn't it nice? Oh my god, I can't stop drooling over this box. Alright, let me show you the heroes right now. I almost forgot about the drink deck. Now, they revamped the iconography on this completely, and I personally think it is a good change, because you can just glance at the card, you don't have to read it, you just know that this gives you 1 alcohol content. And they did that with all of the cards. This one is 1 plus a chaser. That's what that means. You don't have to read anything, it's just right there. And it does have the text up there as well. They redid the art as well. There are different cards like the pot of tea that comes here, which gives you -1 alcohol content, kind of like the coffee. And this one is the grog, and this makes another appearance. They do have a few cards in here that have text, like the challenge. This is one of the new cards as well, -2 fortitude if you drink the oil, which is pretty cool. I mean, I love the direction that they went with here. And in this drink deck, they've actually added way more than they have in the past. The last 2 sets, they've probably added maybe max of 10 cards, but I mean, the Mimic is one of the coolest drink arts I've ever seen in a set. So that just continues to go on. I mean, look at all these cards, and they're easy just to read and know exactly what you have to do. There is a round on the house. I mean, look at that. This drink deck is quite impressive. So now let's get to the actual heroes. I mean, look at that, that's so cool, and show you what they consist of. Let's go. Oh, look at that. So Sierra, I like her model a lot. She looks like a ninja, which is pretty cool. Her flavor text is the good. She hones her skills by sparring with her friends. The bad, sometimes she does this without warning them first. So I would say her playstyle would be she attacks the fortitude a lot, and she's also able to gamble pretty well and or keep her gold. But her Achilles heel is drinking. She can get drunk pretty fast. So let's go over a few of her cards now. And she's hiding in most of her pictures. A true rogue gets the job done undetected. It's an action card and it attacks the fortitude and you cannot reduce it. So she is coming after you and she's going to hit you no matter what. And cat-like reflexes here is a neat one. You can ignore 1 fortitude damage by playing this. She's quick. Hide in the shadows. Where is she at? I don't know. Ignore sometimes an action and/or action card. What's that up your sleeve? And this is where she takes control of gambling. So those are basically her cards, and she has her standard cards as well. There's a few more that I want to go after. Swift counter attack is pretty cool. Not now, I'm sharpening my blade. So I mean, she is a really neat character and she has a lot of cool cards, but again, she's just going to attack the fortitude and probably get drunk in the process. So that is Sira. Impressively dangerous knife tricks. I like that one. Each other player pays you 1 gold. Every deck has one of these. So that is the ninja of the group. Now let's go over the drunken. So Zakhan the Drunken Master, he is different, whereas he has an ability that affects the game. Now it has it all laid out on the back here, so if you have this is a good reference card. Now he has something where he channels Drunken Chi. Now this can be in his benefit or it could backlash and hurt him. And there is another cardboard component that I forgot to mention. This is his wine jug, and this is what you're going to be keeping track of said Drunken Chi. And I would say his gameplay is that he damages a lot and he's able to hold his booze. I didn't see many gambling cards, though he does have a certain amount to keep his head afloat. On your turn, you're going to be keeping track of his alcohol content like normal, and you're also going to be keeping track of his Drunken Chi as well with this cardboard component. So on his drinking phase, he can always opt to add 1 to his Drunken Chi. And how do you do that? So if you drink more than 2 alcohol content on your drink phase with Zakhan, you can opt to add 1 of that to the Drunken Chi, but it always has to be higher than your alcohol content like that. Now keep in mind, this is also kind of like your alcohol content, so if this meets your fortitude, Zakhan is eliminated. So why would you want to add Drunken Chi anyway if you're going to get eliminated? Well, his cards really help him out depending on the number. You can also lower your Drunken Chi as well by discarding 2 cards from your hand on your turn to take it down 1. But let's go over some of the cards so you can see how this Drunken Chi works. The first one that we have here is another sip. It just gained 1 Drunken Chi. The other one here is an empty mug holds no water. Pick another player and they gain 2 alcohol content. And this is where the Drunken Chi comes into play. I'm not as think as you drunk I am, and he is basically drunk. Pick another player, they lose 2 fortitude. As you play this card, you may spend 3 Drunken Chi. If you do, this fortitude loss cannot be reduced or negated or ignored. So it's going to go through, and that's kind of the theme of number 5, is it keeps people from playing cards on your damaging or your alcohol adage. So that's another way to lose Drunken Chi. This is another card here that does that. Catch. I like his model art. Check that out. Pick another player. They lose 2 fortitude. If you have 3 or more Drunken Chi, they lose 3 fortitude instead. So it doesn't take away Drunken Chi. It actually determines how much damage you do based on the number that you have. So this is one of my favorite cards in his deck. Monk's Fireball. As you play this card, spend any amount of Drunken Chi. This amount can be 0. Each player loses X plus 1 fortitude, where X is half the amount of Drunken Chi you spent rounded down. So he can do some serious damage with this card, and there's a few of them in the deck. And it keeps going on like that. Thousand Palm Strike, that's really cool. And there are more fun cards in this deck. You gain 1 Drunken Chi and you get out of a round of gambling with this one here. And this card is really cool. Master the Spirits, or the Spirits will be your master. So he just has a whole bunch of cool things here, and he uses his bombs and his monk powers and his Drunken Chi to get through the night of drinking and gambling. And that was Zakhan, and he's one of the more interesting heroes in this set. Let's get on to the Collector, and she has her own deck. So Liz the Collector is an interesting character. She kind of looks like Pink, and she's a gnome. My dad would have loved her just by the character model. I would say her play is all around. She has a little something for everything, though again, like I said, she has her own separate item deck that she's going to be drawing from, and those are all associated with this little bag in the corner. That's how you're going to be drawing these cards for when you play a card that has a bag in the right corner. You flip this, and if it doesn't say immediate like this one does, because if it does, it will just resolve the effect. If it's just a regular card that is an item, you can place it up top here, and that is going to restrict your hand limit. The more items you have up here, it even says hand limit of 7, which is normal, but if you have 2 items, your hand limit is 6, and if you have 3 items up here, your hand limit is 5. Now this only matters in the draw and discard phase, which also is associated with these items. You can discard these too if you want to draw that many items, and if they're immediate, you're going to have to use them. If not, you can put them up here. And basically all these items are something that has to do with something around the game. Like there's a drink card, which is a holy chalice. I mean, all this art in her deck is really nice, and to point that out, everything in this round 5 art wise is spectacular. So there is an antitoxin, there's a monster eyeball, loopy straw, and another sandwich. There's a gambling one. They have a little something for everything: fortitude, for gold, for gambling. If you name it, she probably has it in her bag. So that is how Liz basically works. She also has cards in her deck that allow her to, you know, gamble, drink, and or effective fortitude. But like I said before, she is the all-around character of this set. Let's go over some of her cards right now. So this one is a gambling one here. She's going into her bag and it's saying, no, I'm not getting extra cards. Take control of the gambling round and you get to draw an item card. I don't think so is also in here. What's that up your sleeve? She's liking gambling so far. Oops, I lost my cards. Yeah, that's another gambling. So I guess she's pretty good at gambling, cheating wise. Hold this for a second. Be careful. It's snappy. Another fortitude card lost, and it's there. And I mean, look at her model. I mean, this art is just so nice. I'm so impressed. Oh my lord, look at that dwarf. He's super cool. Not now. I'm negotiating a deal. So this is where she can ignore a drink and or gambling. And if you notice, a lot of those cards have the bag in the right side corner and some of them don't. I would say about half of them don't have the bag on them and half of them do. This one is just outright, let's get an item card. So yeah, she has a fair amount of bag cards. Let me correct myself. So that is Liz, the collector. And I like this character. She is probably my favorite of the group, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me show you Joran the Trickster next. So Joran the Trickster, I've been calling him Jordan. I've been putting that D in there. My apologies. So Joran is a kind of an all-around character, though. I would say he affects the fortitude a little less and or ignoring drink, so he can get drunk pretty fast, though he has a little bit of everything as well. His good is Joran's talents for the misdirection to make him the perfect weapon against enemy spellcasters. He's got a lot of oh, I don't think so kind of cards where he can go back and forth and counterspell. The bad here is it also makes him the perfect weapon against his friends' gold, their sobriety, and their patience. And I would say that pretty much wraps up Joran in a nutshell. And Joran is the most basic of characters in this set, which is probably why he's my least favorite, but does not make him less viable to winning, because I've seen him win a few times with this deck. It doesn't have anything special, though it gets the job done. So this one here is a ignore drink. I know I had a drink around here somewhere. This is where he's pretty much passing off his stuff and spilling on the floor. Didn't we order Elven wine? Play this after another player reveals a drink with possible chaser. Instead of its usual effect, the drink has the effect of gain 3 alcohol content no matter what. And this is kind of a helper card. He doesn't just hurt people. I'm going to save this healing for the dungeon. Play this card when it sometimes, any times would affect your fortitude. that fortitude gain is reduced to 0 for all players if multiple players were to be hit. So he helps people out as well. This is one of his gambling cards and stops them from cheating. And this has some of the intermingling of the heroes on the art here, and that's why we avoid casting giant growth indoors. Pick another player, they lose 2 fortitude. His deck is still pretty humorous. So he has an invisibility spell. Again, the Trickster here is just a basic deck, though he can win pretty well and often, might I add. And he does have a lot of intermingling characters within his cards. So those are the 4 heroes that come in this set. Now let me tell you what I think about the package as a whole. The big box, the 4 heroes, and the slightly modified drink deck. Let's go. So that was Red Dragon Inn 5, and as we always do here on Gamevine, I'm going to be giving this game a letter grade and or a percentage. And I settled on a 91 for Red Dragon Inn 5. The first Red Dragon Inn to break the 90 mark. And yes, this is by far my favorite set. Now, I'm gonna put a disclaimer on here and say that I backed this on Kickstarter, but it was kind of inevitable. I had all the sets, and I mean, the big box is basically where I'm giving a lot of my praise to, because everything they did to the revamp of the drink deck, to the component upgrade, to just the layout of the box and adding the inserts, it was just everything that I wanted from the next Red Dragon Inn sets. I will say that these heroes are good, nothing like spectacular, though I do like a lot of them. Though my favorite character still is the dwarf. I don't know, I'm biased. And as you can tell, I'm super excited to have this game, and I wouldn't want it any other way. So I can't recommend this game enough. Now, I will say that this isn't a good set to start on. I would say this is a good one to buy after you have at least 2 or more. I would argue though, if you want to start with great storage from the get-go, pick this box up, you can't go wrong. So we've did it, everyone. We have reviewed and went over all the base sets of Red Dragon Inn. Stay tuned though, because I do have a few of the allies that I'm going to go over, and these really add some humor and cool character to the game as well. So if you're into Red Dragon Inn or you just need some storage, I cannot recommend this box set enough. So thank you so much everyone for joining me in today's review of Red Dragon Inn 5, and thank you so much Slugfest Games for your continuing support. We could not have done this process without you. And I've been Dave from Gamevine, and stay tuned for more Red Dragon Inn coming your way. And until the next time that I see you, have a great rest of your day and a great time with all that you play. You heard it here on the Gamevine. I'm out. You're coming with